everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward, you guys. Today's no different. Today, I want to speak to something really quickly. This might be a very brief podcast. I want to just clear up some loose ends that I left unintentionally in my Bible study yesterday. I wanted to speak to sorcery today. And what sorcery is, I know yesterday we spoke to the sorcerer Balaam and his whole lineage of sorcerers, Balaam, Beor, and Laban, and all of his sons. And all of these people are synonymous in the Bible because of them being powerful sorcerers. And yesterday I spoke to how much of the world was engrossed in this system of using their imagination through will, which is a certain form of magic. They were engrossed in using magic, using the force within them to animate their creations and bring them to life. And then they began worshiping these creations. This is what we consider magic in some instances. Magic is using the force, the God force that is within you, to implement change in the world by way of your mental thinking, clarity, your will, and most importantly, the God force that is within you to make that thing work. The God force within you is the engine that allows all of the faculties of the body, the mind, the will, the attention, the creations with the hand, the God force is the engine, the motor that makes all these things come about. And much of the world has come into play. The Matrix, if you want to call it that, is completely that. That's what it is. Look around you, these buildings and many of these corporations that you see with these logos and their mantras and what they stand for and the verticals that they create and the industries that they support and the industries that they create. All these things are ideologies. They're all creations of the mind that were birthed through will, through the God force within you. All of these things, everything we see around us is that. The ability to shape wood into a particular way and to use it for a particular thing is a form of that. And it gets very, very deep. I mean, the rabbit hole of this thing is so deep and vast. I couldn't even condense it into any sort of podcast session. I would be doing it a disservice because I would not be able to capture the totality of it. Everything we see in this garden, this matrix, this world that we reside in is a creation. It's either God's creation or man's creation. But I want to focus more so today on the sorcerer aspect. I think the word sorcerer gets a bad rap. I do. The ability to inflict change in the world by way of will and imagination comes natural. Many of us call this magic, pulling something into existence from nothing. All by thought, by will, by desire. It's a form of magic. It's like, wow, where did that come from? How did you do that? There's nothing physical to substantiate the creation of it. The idea that you get to create such a thing, where does it come from? There's no physical bank of ideas that we pull from in the world that we can go to and touch and feel and see. All these ideas that we think we're so phenomenal in coming up with, they're all pulling from somewhere. Where is that idea pulling from? And are there any original ideas left? Or are we regurgitating someone else's idea that they were blessed with from this fountain of ideas held up in the cloud? When we speak to sorcery, we must examine the name sorcery. Sorcery. It tells you exactly what it is by its name. So when we look at the word sorcery, we're looking at source as the foundational of the name, source. This lets you know from whence it gets its power. It is a sorcerer. It's someone. I googled it, and the Wikipedia translation of it is source or AI translation that came up on my phone. Sorcery, the use of black magic. I thought, wow, that's interesting. Because what is black magic? You know, obviously, I'm an African American woman, highly melanated woman. If those that don't ascribe to the African American connotation, highly melanated woman to those that don't ascribe to the black connotation. You know, you got to be politically correct here. And I'm a very cultural girl. I really love my culture. I love my history. I think everyone should love their culture and love their history. I don't feel like it's synonymous to just my particular culture. I think it should be something that's blanketed across all nationalities. But I myself am a very culturally grounded woman. I love my culture. I study my culture. You can't pull the wool over my eyes when it comes to cultural stuff. I know from whence I come and what I represent. But when I Googled the term sorcery, it came up use of black magic. And what we find with these words, they bring on a certain tone. They lend us a certain emotion when we hear these words, black magic. When you hear the word black magic, you automatically default to evil. You automatically default to wickedness. Black cats. Anything black is bad. Oh, he had a dark energy. It was a dark energy, and I had to, that type of stuff. And I can understand where that can come from to an extent. So when I looked and I researched the word sorcery, the first thing came up, it said use of black magic. And then it went on to say the use of supernatural powers obtained through evil spirits or occult forces to achieve unnatural effects. And I thought, okay, I kind of get it. And because I have a history in knowing these things, I could read through the lines of this. I could read into this because I have a history of researching such things. I know more about this than what is being conveyed in the definitions that you find on social media. And these are some of the things that I want to come forward with you on so that you are empowered as well, to give you a perspective. You don't have to adopt it, but just chew on it for a moment. When you hear the word black, blank, noir, in the current system of things, you're hearing of someone speaking to boundless potential. That's what it speaks to. Carbon. Boundless potential. When you look in the night sky, when you go deep in space, whether within the mind in meditation or in the physical spatial places, you go out into a very distant area on the planet where you're far away from light, and you look up in the sky at night, you'll see boundless darkness immersed with little bitty lights. This darkness is from which all things come. Everything you see in the natural world was birthed in the darkness. Everything. You and I were birthed and conceived. We were conceived, created, nurtured, and cultivated, nurtured, in the darkness of our mother's womb. Every last one of us, regardless to ethnicity or gender, every one of us that are born of a woman in this world, all come from the darkness. The darkness is the mother of everything. Black, blank, boundless energy, boundless potential. So it's fair to say that the darkness is what we would consider the womb. And its potential is boundless. Every single thing that is created into a physical manifestation in this world was first birthed and cultivated in the seed of boundless potential. It absolutely must spring forth from this black, boundless space, or else it cannot enter into the world of light. So when we see the word sorcery, and it's saying the use of magic, black magic, we got to park right there with the word black magic. Black magic must then be that thing, whatever it is. It's not a vertical, there's no particular vertical. Black magic is neutral. It's whatever you want it to be. If you have the intention to do evil, then that black magic is now evil. It goes from being black magic now to being evil magic. If your intention is for what you pull from the blackness is goodness, then that black space that houses the potential for immense potential or magic is now good magic. Black, whether in the spatial aspect or in the color spectrum, is completely neutral. It is just a space of boundless, limitless potential. And it all is characterized by your intention. Your intention gives it form. But its form must be birthed from the blackness, or else it cannot in any way take shape in the world of light. There's no other way. It goes back to Eve. In order for Adam to birth his seed in the world of light, it must go forth from Eve's womb. She has no competition. Same way with black magic, or the blackness of the heavens. It is of the blackness that everything bursts from, whatever it is. You'll give it its characteristic. It is your intention that pulls from it that which you desire, and then you name it that. So when we speak to sorcery, we're speaking to, really, in order to understand it, we must understand the word sorcerer. The one wielding this power, the sorcerer. What is the word source? A place, a person, or a thing from which something comes from or can be obtained. Well, we just spoke to the darkness of the heavens, or the darkness of the womb. Darkness in general, black, blank, noir, being the birthing place of all things living, all things of spirit. Everything comes from the blackness of the womb. So the source and the blackness of the womb must be the same thing. A place, person, or thing from which something comes from or can be obtained. Even if the source is an emanation of something that was already birthed from the blackness of the womb, and now it has been birthed by intention and character specific characteristics into a particular form. And that form now goes on to birth other things. The birthing of whatever it births all comes from this same place. They're just extensions, multiples. They are all birthed from the womb. So the source and the womb are synonymous with one another. They have to be. They must be synonymous with one another. Even the sun that we look at in the sky, that gives life to all of which resides on this planet, gets its power from another version of itself, another sun. It's complete polar opposite. The sun is birthed from the blackness of its mother, which is the black sun. In order for light to come about, it must be birthed from darkness. There is no other way. That's how this entire system is set up. Light is birthed from darkness. And it is the darkness that has the boundless, exponentially powerful potential. Anything you can think of can be birthed from the darkness. Anything. So the sorcerer, let's just say, I'm going to stick to the word sorcery. Sorcery is boundless potential, the womb, source. Now let's go into the word sorcerer. I'm sorry, not sorcerer, sorcerer. What's a sorcerer? Sorcerer is someone who would be considered a recruitment specialist focused on identifying and attracting candidates. So there's someone that goes and identifies and attracts candidates for a particular thing. A sorcerer is someone that scouts and attracts. It's an attracting force. It's like a magnet. But it's a particular magnet. It doesn't magnetize any and everything. It magnetizes certain things that are emanating or showing characteristics to a certain vibration, mindset, activity level that meets the criteria of which it looks to attract. So whatever criteria it's looking to attract, it sends out a signal, a welcoming mat, to say, a vibration to attract like things to it. That's a sorcerer. And then we have ore. What is an ore? When you see in these mining industries, they're mining these ores, or they're looking for these ores, and they're mining deep within the earth for certain types of minerals and sediment, rock, things of that nature. That's exactly what ore is. Ore is a naturally occurring rock or mineral deposit. Ore. Naturally occurring rock or mineral deposit. So when you break down the word sorcerer, you're breaking it down to womb, boundless potential, and attractant. of boundless potential and attractant of natural occurring physical matter and boundless potential. Either or. So a sorcerer goes out. We see this with the sorcerer Balaam. He's sourcing for this type of energy. He's sourcing for soul energy. And this is the energy in which he is able to manipulate within the physical realm, whether animals or people. This soul energy he sources. When God spoke to the angels in the Apocrypha, I know I sound like I'm going all over the world, but when God spoke to the angels in the Apocrypha, how did he say that they were created? They were created from hard rock, or naturally occurring rock. This is how the angels were created. This is who they are. They are the manifestation of striking hard rock against one another. And then the friction creates a fire. A sorcerer is someone that is able to go source for particular types of energy and manipulate that with people or animals, any emanation of this particular energy, manipulate that. Use the natural occurring elements as foundationals to build from in the manipulation of these things to cause change in the world. When you read the AI depiction of this word, it's not completely true. It feeds into the misalignment to what this individual is. The AI depiction of it is the use of black magic, black magic. But that does not mean that it is a wicked action. Black meaning boundless potential. It's neutral. It's not good and it's not bad. It just is. Magic meaning to be able to cause change in the world by way of your will, to pull something into manifestation, to cause change without having any physical attribute to rely upon. To use supernatural forces to cause change within the world, whether within someone's life, whether within the particular vertical, whatever the change is, these things are considered magic. And these are the things that sorcerers, those like Balaam and his line of sorcerers, and the entire world were doing at one time. The difference between sorcery and some levels of what I spoke to yesterday, which would be magic, sigils, and spells, are the actions or emanations that spring forth from what a true sorcerer does. These are particular faculties or tools that a true sorcerer would wield in the manifestation of his goal in using sorcery. Sorcery is pulling from the source, using source power to create change in the world. Source power meaning God power, meaning ethereal power, meaning the pulling from the darkness of the womb, the endless, boundless womb of creation, womb of potential, and using that power to create change in the world. And I think I got a little time to speak to this. I didn't know where I was going to go with this, but I know now. In Ephesians 6:12, he says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. This is important. This goes back to what I'm talking about. When we speak to sorcerer, the word sorcerer, source, a person that is pulling from the womb, the darkness. Every single thing birthed into the world of light is birthed out of darkness, friend. Every single thing. There's no other way. Yet it says here in Ephesians 6:12, very, very prominent and powerful verse. It pinpoints what our wrestling is. It pinpoints where Laban and the sorcerers and all of these ones that choose to do wickedness in the world get their power from. Yet, just because they do wicked doesn't mean that this particular source is wicked. It speaks to it being wicked because, or it speaks to the wickedness aspect because scripture is trying to get you to see from what you are wrestling with, because it seems like we're not ever able to pinpoint it so that we get an advantage over it. He's showing us through scripture where Laban and all of these sorcerers and all of the ones that do all of this wickedness get it from. And that this source is not wicked. It just is. It's neutral. It's an immense, expansive space. It's an immensely expansive space of neutral, immensely powerful potential. It is the space of this realm that everything of this realm is birthed from. It's immensely expansive. It has immensely powerful, neutral potential. And I'll read it again. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Take it out of me and you. It is not me and you. It is a spiritual war that they use me and you as avatars to fight. But we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Source, or roar, or rock. These angels were created from this rock. High places, turned wicked, using the darkness of this world. Stop thinking of the darkness as being bad. You're off. They got you lost in La La Land with that. They got you looking for the boogeyman. It's not that easy. The darkness is the neutral space of immense power and potential. Do you understand what I'm saying? The darkness is the immensely expansive space of immense power, of which everything is birthed, which I call potential, because you can't put a name on one thing. It's Everything is birthed from it. Everything. These are those that we wrestle with. I was sitting on the sofa and I thought about it. This is all impromptu. All of this. So please accept my apology for it not being all nice and neat and everything. But the darkness is that. The source. It is the place of immense, expansive, boundless potential. You cannot get anything in this life in your hand, manifested, to be able to utilize for good or evil, lest it is born in the darkness first. And that goes for me and you, a plant, or anything. You dig up a tree. What do you have to do with the root? You've got to cover it. The light will unalive it. It is the darkness that is the womb. And what we wrestle with are those that rule the entrance and the exit of all that has to do with the womb. They guard it. The Bible says we wrestle against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Just like they were the rulers of the first heaven, but they were corrupted and no one could get their prayer up to God while they were being mistreated and much wickedness was going on down here and the people were being taken advantage of and harmed, and nobody in God could not receive their prayers and was limited to their cries. The system was corrupt. We're seeing the Bible convey such things in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. They are the rulers of the womb. They rule, they guard. A ruler is someone that guards, that has total control of what is done. They control what is birthed in this realm and what is not, because they rule the womb. I don't know why. I just wanted to come on with that today to create some clarity to my Bible study that I did yesterday on sorcery, magic, spells, and sigils. Absolutely. Always wanting to be helpful and offer some clarity to the information that I put forward, because I never want to misrepresent myself. And if I feel like I do, I will always come forth and add some clarity to some things so that I'm not misunderstood. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day, you guys. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.